I've posted before about balls of light I've seen randomly, and years apart. There were only 2 experiences where others also saw what I saw that set the rest of the experiences apart. In both of those cases, they were aware of the balls of light before I was. The first was when my husband, sons, and I returned home from an outing. We had picked up Popeye's chicken on the way home for dinner, and while they settled down at the kitchen island, I stepped into the kitchen to grab plates and utensils. They had been keeping up a pretty lively conversation when I suddenly realized they'd gone silent. I turned around to face them and saw they were all looking up at the ceiling over the back door. My eyes followed theirs, and there, just floating in the air, was a black-brown spherical cloud thing, just churning away. It had electric sparks firing throughout. It wasn't any bigger than a baseball, and it just hovered there. Breaking the silence, I asked what that was. It looked so different than the other balls of light I'd seen on my own, but was definitely one of them. They said it came out of the kitchen when I'd stepped in and had floated over their heads and was just hovering over the back door now. It felt watchful. I approached it, walking past my sons and husband, and stood right under it. It was amazing. A dark little thundercloud just churning away, soundless, with the blue sparks like electricity dimming and glowing within it. I reached up to touch it and it seemed startled. Then, as we all watched, it receded into the ceiling and was gone. The strange thing is that no one seemed to want to talk about or really discuss it, other than to say what had already been said, that it floated out of the kitchen and just chilled there above the door. Couldn't have lasted more than a couple of minutes. The second time was just last year. Possibly spring. My son and his girlfriend were sitting on the couch in our living room and my husband on the love seat adjacent to them when I noticed he was staring very fixedly over their heads. My eyes followed his and I gasped, at which point he turned startled eyes on me and quickly back to the object that had first caught his eye. "You see it, too?" he asked me. I did. It was a translucent, glowing white, jellyfish-like blob treading air. The reason I use that word is because it was just floating there, but it had tentacles like a jellyfish, and these tentacles were moving as a jellyfish's tentacles moved in water. Then, as we watched, it ascended, swimming as a jellyfish would, up and up until it went through the ceiling. My son said he didn't see anything. His girlfriend was uneasy. She said she didn't see anything but was uneasy when she came into our house and she couldn't pinpoint why. That thing was floating over the area where she was sitting, specifically.